Right, so on the screen you will see number 1, A and B. Isabel, sit down so we can mark, please. Grade 9s, you're supposed to mark. You boys. Any questions at A? You will see that I first changed the mixed number to an improper fraction, and then after that I changed the denominator. Sorry. I've shushed you 3 times now. That you should have said after the first time. So turn to the front, take out your book, and mark.
Mommy doesn't sit with us.
No, maar dis sommer skuif. Where do you actually sit? Yes. Move. Sien? Dis omdat jy nie op jou plek is dat jy moeilikheid maak. Ja. Okay, sit down. I've got a lot to do. Right, any questions at A? B? Can I skip? B. Okay, remember that over here I first wanted to change that division to a multiplication, and when I do that, it means that these two switch around. So then it becomes 3 over 1. Then, because we've got multiplication throughout, you can see whether you can cancel out. Now we either cancel out up and down or across, but in this case there wasn't anything that I could cancel out. So then I take the top part, all the numerators, so 9 times 3 times 3 gave me the negative 81. And then, thank you, 2. Okay, and then we multiply the bottom part, so 7 times 4 times 1 gave me the 28. Okay. And remember this negative, you can either put it at the top or in front. Doesn't matter, no? Right. Can I skip? Okay, there's C. So what I first did is I got rid of that bracket. And 2 to the power, that to the power 3 applies to the 2 and to the 3. So that's why I wrote it like this over here. Then at the top, 2 to the power 3 gave me the 8. At the bottom, 3 to the power 3 gave me the 27. And now I want to make denominators the same. So the smallest one that I could find was the 54. So over here I had to multiply with 2, and that's how I knew the 8 I also have to multiply with 2 to get 16. Then over there I had to multiply with 27, both at the top and bottom, so I got 27 over 54. Now, your textbook just said simplify, and then it says check your answers with a calculator. So that's why I assumed it would actually have to be without the use of a calculator. But if they didn't say that you had to do it without the use of a calculator, you could have left out that step. You could have gone from here to there. Oh, that's a 4, nice. Okay. Any questions at C? Right. There is D, and then 2A. Okay, any questions at A? Okay. What you just had to remember is that my they were all like terms because they all had the unknown of x. No. Okay, so then before we could go and add and subtract, I had to change my denominators so that they would all be the same. And the denominators here were 3 and 5, so I made my common denominator 15. Okay, so any questions there? Okay, hands up, we're still copying. Okay. Can I skip? Right, there's B and C. Bring me that phone. It's not the first or the second or the third time. Cool. That's just long overdue. Do you agree? Right, any questions at B or C? See, your book wasn't even open, eh? Book not even open. Yes.
Add the 2x squared y squared, oh sorry, to the power, being over 3, like all of them.
Yes, yeah. All right, can I skip? Who says no? Okay. You done? You done? Okay, there's F, and then G I'm still busy with, so you guys can. Okay, so as I write D, I'll explain. So between the multiplication and the subtraction, the multiplication was more important, so basically I'm going to do that first. Okay, so I then said the 1 and 3 over 5 will become 8 over 5 xy times 2x over 3 minus a quarter x squared y. Okay, so if I were to multiply out here or cancel out, can't cancel out up and down or across. So now if I multiply, 8xy times 2x is going to give me 16 x squared y over 15. No. Now, you could also have written that as 16 over 15 x squared y. Okay, so both of those would have been correct. Now you would see that both of those terms have got x squared y as an unknown, so they are like terms. No. So 16 over 15 minus a quarter. You would first go and make your denominators the same. Okay, I haven't got space to show that. So your final answer would be 49 over 60. And the unknown stays the same, x squared y. Any questions there? So 60 was my smallest, or that was my common denominator. Okay, any questions there? Can I skip? Okay, so while you guys are writing, skip. Tell me when you're done. Hands up, we're still busy copying? Okay. Alright, so over here, the first thing that I did is I changed that division sign to a multiplication sign. Now, you could have cancelled out. I'll show you how I cancel out now, but my final answer would be 9, x to the power of 4. Let me show you how I cancelled out. What I did is I said 4 will go into itself once, and 4 will go in there 4 times. But this 4 will also cancel out with that 4. Okay? You guys fine so far? Okay. And then the 3 times that 3 will give me 9. And 9 will go into itself once, and 9 will go in here 9 times. Okay? And then, I left out a to the power 3. Okay, so then at the top I've got 1 times 9 times 1, which gives me 9. At the bottom, 1 times 1 times 1, so 1. So the 9 over 1 stays 9. And then x times x to the power 3 becomes x to the power of 4. You guys good with that? Let me just fill in that to the power 3 because I left that out here. Okay. Any questions? Right. So now I've got 4 examples that I quickly want to do with you guys. We're now going to do solving of equations. Okay. Can I skip? Who's still copying here? There you go. D. There we go. Okay. Okay, so you can write solving equations. Okay, so example 1, I'm giving you x plus a half is equal to 2. Okay, now we have done this in grade 8, so nothing should be completely new to you. Our main goal is to get the unknown, in this case x, alone. So this half I'm going to take to the other side, right? Okay, so which means I'm going to have x, is equal to 2 minus a half, meaning, yellow, x will be 1.5, or you can say 3 over 2. Same thing, right? Okay, any questions there? Go. Now, next one. Five over 4x is equal to 1. Okay. Now, one of two things. Okay. Obviously, I want to get x alone. So what do I need to get rid of? That 5 over 4. But what's actually written here is 5 over 4 times x. So option 1 is I take that to the other side, so it becomes divided by 5 over 4. No. Or last year, my other class, I can't remember if you guys preferred this. I'll show and then I'll delete. We divide by the coefficient on both sides. That's the same thing. No. Because what's going to happen here is these two will cancel out. So what will be left? Only x. And have a look at what's written here. 1 divided by 5 over 4. So can you see it's the same thing? No. Okay. So whichever one you prefer, because I've got limited space, I'm going to write it like this. So x is equal to 1 divided by 5 over 4. Okay. Now, over here, they will never say without the use of a calculator. They're just going to say solve x. No? So you can use your calculator. Please don't do extra steps here. Use your calculator and say 1 divided by 5 over 4. Okay. So x will then be 4 over 5. Okay. If for some other reason, maybe in the homework, they say without use of a calculator, which they don't, then you would first have to change the division to a multiplication, and that's why it switches around and becomes 4 over 5, and 1 times 4 over 5 will give you 4 over 5. Any questions there? Right, can I skip? Okay, example 3. Um, 2 and a 7 x is equal to 1 over 3x plus 38. Okay, right. Now, if you think back to what you were taught last year, step 1 was get your unknowns on the left, normal numbers on the right. Do you remember that? Which means that this third x has got to move to the left-hand side. And when it moves over, what does it become? A minus. So 2 and 1 over 7 x minus a third x is equal to 38. Okay. Now, we would then usually go look for the lowest common denominator on the left-hand side. They are like terms, no? Because they both have x as an unknown. So we just got to change the denominator so it would be the same. That was a 7 and this is a 3. So what do you think we'd make our common denominator? 21. No, but we're going to cheat. We use our calculator and say 2 and 1 over 7 minus a third. And that's going to give me, 38. 38 over 21 x still equal to 38. Please, people, remember that when we put this into our calculator, you've got to use that shift. Maybe I should make a note here. You've got to use this shift and then the one with a block and then the fraction. Do you remember this? We spoke about this earlier on in the year. Okay, where we make denominators the same. Okay, I'll write that at the bottom because I'm going to delete it afterwards. So the 2 and 1 over 7, if I made it an improper fraction, it would be 15 over 7x. Okay, then I'm going to make my denominators 21, which means that the 7 had to be multiplied with 3. So the same at the top, so 45. And then over here, I had to multiply with 7, so 7 over 21. Okay, and then the 45 minus the 7 gave me the 38. You good with that? Any other questions here so far? Okay, now what do we have to do? We've got to get rid of this coefficient. So if I take it over, it's going to become divide. Okay, so x is equal to 38 divided by 38 over 21. Now, you don't have to. I'm going to write this step, but you don't have to. We can use our calculator. 38 is actually 38 over 1. The division, I'm going to change to multiplication, which means that that swaps around. So 21 over 38. Okay, and then you will see that this 38 cancels out with that one. So my final answer is x is equal to 21. Any questions? Okay, can I skip? Last example. Okay, right. So before I can actually go and solve x, what did I have to do? Get rid of the brackets. And how do I do that? I am going to multiply in that 2. No? Okay, so 2 times x is going to give me 2x. 2 times 3 over 5 is going to give me 6 over 5. And that's still equal to 4. Okay. All right. Now, what do I do first? I've got to take this over. Remember, you guys remember the steps from last year? Okay, unknowns left, normal numbers right. That's what I'm doing here. Then I've got to get rid of the coefficient. And then lastly, if there is, then we'll work with exponents. No? Okay. Right. So I'm first going to take that 6 over 5 over. So it will be 4 minus 6 over 5, which means that 2x will be equal to 14 over 5. Okay. Now I've got to get rid of that 2. And how do I do that? If I take it to the other side, it will become divided by 2. Do you guys still understand? We see buying. Okay. Right. I'm just going to show this step. You didn't have to. I'm going to change the division to a multiplication, which means that it switches around. So now it would be a half. But you didn't have to. You can skip from here, put it into your calculator, and go directly to that step. Okay? Yes. 7 over 5. Yes, you could have written it like that as well. Okay. Any questions? Good. Hands up, we're still copying. Right? For the rest of you, your homework is going to be exercise 3.3. That's on page 33. And you're going to do the whole exercise. There's just 10 of them, so it's quick. Right, can I skip? Three point 3. Okay, that is it.